Aquarius rising. How you doing, Aquarius? So this is going to be your reading for the Taurus full moon that is happening on the 15th or the 16th of September. Oh my goodness, we're going back in time. Maybe something happened in September that's relevant to this reading of November, depending on where you live. And this is in Taurus, which squares your energy, Aquarius, wherever that falls in your natal chart. Squares are an aspect of Mars, and they can bring about conflict, drama, frustration, and winning at all costs. But the flip side to a square is friction, and with friction we build in the 3D realm. It is all about building. Hello and welcome. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and you just heard some vocal light language, and there's some physical light language as well. I've been channeling for a while now. Multi-dimensional energies, and all of this brings in healing, attunement, and activation codes to the messages that come through in this reading. So I read for the rising signs. So for those of you who do not have Aquarius in the first house, look to where Aquarius falls in your natal chart. For me, it's in the 7th house. Look to the themes of the house that it's in and whatever else you've got going on in the sign of Aquarius, and you want to apply all of that meaning to the messages that come through here in this reading. It will be as if that Aquarius energy has now energetically moved to the 1st house. So when I talk about the astrology for the rising sign, it will still link in. You just got to add on your own natal chart meaning on top of it. As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So Aquarius rising, this is happening in your 4th house of your roots and your foundations, right? Your ancestors, both blood and soul lineage, your parental figures, the roof over your head, and the things that you do in private. So a lovely full moon here. This full moon's a bit it's conjunct Uranus and a fixed star called Algol. Now, I'll talk more about this in the collective reading, and that's where I've broken down the astrology in way more detail, right? There's a lot of communication going on in the chart of this moon, or from lots of different spaces. And so this forms an energetic, harmonious blueprint, harmonic blueprint even, not always harmonious, that we're then working with over the next 6 months. So even though this is a full moon and it does mark sort of a completion energy, a closing out of a particular part of a cycle, we then activate the new one. So all those themes of the 4th house, I'm going to be talking about a bit more. I'll just tell you, what am I doing with the tarot? So there's going to be 4 piles. The first pile is going to be, okay, what kind of difficulty or shadow aspect or part of yourself that you've been working through that just involves a little more challenges, right? Isn't too easy. It's often looking at some more shadow aspects of the self. Now, that's going to be the first pile of what's being released, what's being closed down. What's being closed out with this full moon that's come to an end. You're sort of done with that particular leg of the journey. Pile 2 is going to be what have you integrated, right? There's less of the shadow side, right? So the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. Like what benefits are you bringing in? What integration energy is coming in with this full moon? It's more sort of the celebrations rather than the challenges. Pile 3 is going to be what is the download? What is the activation that you're getting at the time of this full moon that you'll then work with over the next 6 months to the Taurus new moon? Pile 4 is going to be how to work with this activation, right? What to focus on over the next 6 months, what framework, what way of perceiving things, what sort of helpful tricks and tools can we activate to work with this energy. I'll also be pulling 2 oracle cards, and I forgot to turn that around, And if we've got time, and if I feel so called, I'm going to be pulling a couple of cards on just the Uranus energy, that's obviously conjunct the moon, and then also a couple of cards on Saturn going direct, because Saturn has been retrograde for quite some time now. Summertime sadness was definitely a thing, and now it will be going direct before the full moon on the same day. And that's going to be pretty big in terms of the energy. Very chatty with you, Aquarius. So that's what's going on with the cards. Now let's get into the astrology. Well, I already mentioned that this moon, this full moon, right, the illumination of our needs and our nourishment and our intuition, and that's sort of the generator that is the moon, that collects together all the information from all the other planets and celestial bodies. And this is when there's an illumination of everything that she has learned in regards to the Taurus area of your chart over the last 6 months, and all of that coming to completion. Oh, I'm getting a throbbing pain in the top left side of my head. It's kind of like just above the left eye. And it's funny that that's happened, because the fixed star that Uranus and the moon are conjunct is called Algol. And it is a bit of a troublesome fixed star, although incredibly liberating, because it's linked into Medusa. And there are several narratives around this. One is kind of like off with your head energy, like losing your head, kind of thing. And I talk about this in the collective reading. A certain political figure had a little graze on their ear when Mars and Uranus were at this degree, right, on Algol. So they're very literal. I break down the astrology in more detail of that, which it's one of the examples that I like to give people who aren't into astrology, because the way it's set up is like so loud in its obviousness. So there's that kind of energy, but the way that you interpret it generally, like energetically, and with that moon and with Uranus is the path clearer, the breaker of chains. It wants you to walk your soul's path and not be bothered about what other people think of you. It's very independent, it's very maverick, it's very innovative, sudden eureka moments that are outside of the confines of our old paradigm. Very independent. Now, what I see with this combination is a release of things in the head, right? Ideas, perceptions that have blocked us from fully embodying our personal journey on this planet from a place of abundance, a place of love, connection, and feeling good, right? In your physical senses, right? Taurus is the first earth sign. It's also fixed energy. So there's an element of stubbornness there. That is, along with all fixed signs. Hi, Aquarius. I have a Leo rising. I understand. We're very loyal, but we're stubborn as hell. And so whenever we have fixed lunations, it's like it's like trying to get a massive tanker to turn direction. But Uranus is very good at very sudden changes, right? Quick changes. It shook my whole life up. Let me get a flipper there. When I couldn't do it myself, right? Because I wasn't walking my path. I was doing certain things that served the path, but I was festering in that space because I was so broken. I couldn't do it myself. And Uranus came and did me a solid. So for some of you, it could be about sudden shifts and changes in your home life, in the people that you live with, your relationship dynamics with your parents, parental figures, an activation around your ancestors. It's also your foundations, like your inner foundations. And so with this Algol Uranus moon energy, there's a real releasing of certain perspectives and certain constructs that we hold that have in our minds, in our heads, that have blocked the truth of ourselves. Because Medusa obviously was deemed to be a monster, but there was a reason why she was kind of monstrous in her energy, right? Go look up the mythology. It's dealing with one of the major themes in Greek mythology, which is non-consensual interactions. So this could be about things that have, oh, I haven't said this in any of the videos yet. Some things that have bound us. I'm not really one for like spells and curses and stuff like that, but it came to my mind of something that has bound us that isn't to do with us, that isn't part of our story, that is other perspectives that have tried to distort our frequency. Whew, they're like that. I do apologise for the loud vibration. Honestly, I could help it, but it would all be very delayed in the dampening down, and I don't like to restrict them. Although I do, because if I let them run riot, that it would just be that channeling for an hour, 3 hours, a whole day. Right, okay, so that is the moon, Uranus and Algol. As I said, this can be a shift in your perspective around what your foundations are, around how your needs are met in that regard, and as well as like, what is safety to you? What is security to you? And as I'm saying that, one of the black cats that lives with me just clambered in through the window, having roamed outside. She's come back home because she knows that's just something that's safe for her, where she can rest. So there's an element here around finding a deeper comfort in your environment and being able to rest and digest. I could see a lot of liberating ideas, a lot of eureka moments happening in the home space. Now the sun is over in Scorpio, so often we get a seesawing between these two signs when we have a full moon. And Scorpio is in your 10th house of your career, your life purpose. Career doesn't have to be life purpose, it can just facilitate it. Visibility, reputation, a sense of sovereignty. So the sun is shining a light on all of this, and so there may be a focal point of what comes through at home in your home life that's to do with the next stage of your life purpose, the next stage of your career, and having more vision around that, which is giving you this sense of, okay, I've got this in this incarnation, I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going. Or at least the next stage, I'm feeling safer, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's literally safe, but your energy's feeling safe. Now, the sun and the moon, and obviously Uranus and Algol, are making harmonious aspects to both Neptune in Pisces and Pluto and Ceres in Capricorn. Now, so this is involving the three outer planets, Pluto, Neptune and Uranus. I have talked about this in a lot more detail in the Pluto in Capricorn oracle reading. That energy is really relevant. It's going to still be relevant, even though Pluto's moving into Aquarius for ages, because it's the setup to when all of those planets and Saturn move into yang signs. So they're all in earth and water at the moment, and this is representing a huge archetypal shift in our consciousness and therefore our understanding of reality, which is why everyone might be feeling quite discombobulated and quite kind of split personality. But stronger and stronger each time we go through certain lessons and certain growth spurts. Because we've shifted timelines, and now we are recalibrating to the new tools in the new timeline, because in this timeline there's an elevation of consciousness, there's an expansive subconscious awareness that's becoming more conscious of our capacity to work with reality and co-create. And this Pluto, Neptune, Uranus energy is part of that, right? They are reorientating our rooted power, our magnetism, to the real reality that is the magical reality that serves our soul's path. And as I said, they're all going to move into yang signs. So at the moment, we're solidifying, we're cultivating, we're nurturing this energy, we're observing and bringing nuance and depth to it. and it's all resting, it's digesting, right? It's all digesting right now. And then they're all going to move into yang signs next year. Boom. I can't wait to read for that. So this energy is locked into this Taurus moon. It's getting established in your foundational energy. And you have Capricorn in your 12th house, your hidden house, your house of mysteries. In there is anxiety, depression, grief, loss, isolation, all of that good stuff, as well as the magic of your soul, which happens to be underneath all of that. And Pluto's with Ceres, who's an asteroid, who is fully spherical. She's bigger than Pluto. And she represents the grain mother, right? The earth mother, and the harvest, right? Abundance coming in, a sense of nutrients and nurturing, nourishment. And you know, the harvest, bounty, right? And Pluto's often not seen as Pluto digs riches up from the underworld, right? So there's this combination of this very powerful energy with Pluto, with Ceres, of bringing the harvest in, of tools, of bounty coming in with this full moon that we're then going to be working with over the next 6 months. And so this is really facilitating any wounds in those unconscious spaces, right? Any wounds in the unconscious spaces that are causing you to feel like you're not safe here in this incarnation. I can see a lot of wisdom, a lot of bounty coming in that's helping you connect to the magic of your soul in there, of really feeling like the mountain and feeling very stable and very strong and able to keep going the distance. This level of maturity and commitment that they're both going to be bringing to the surface and pouring into this moon, where you're intuitively in alignment with that. And so that's trine the moon and sextiling the sun, both harmonious aspects. Trines, in a nutshell, are wisdom and flow, elevation, ease, sextiles, creativity, connection, love. Now, Neptune is dissolving everything right now. Dissolving everything because it's trine the sun, that the sun is dredging to the surface from the underworld of Scorpio, right? Sun through Scorpio is always helpful for us to look into the darkness, to be able to stand firm in it and look at things that we might have hidden from before that we actually really kind of need to look at. Our worst fears, our paranoia, all bubbling to the surface, like dredging from this fixed water into the ocean of Pisces in order for it to be dissolved. Venus rules this whole moon. And she is in Capricorn, along with Pluto and Ceres. So you may have felt, this happened, when did this happen? This happened on Monday. And you might have felt a real I love Venus in the 12th. She just helps smooth things over. She just, you know, it is a difficult house, which can feel very personal to you, but not necessarily integrated with the rest of the world, right? But those Pluto moving in there, like bringing up a lot of fear in a kind of a fear-based house. Well, it's partly connected to fear. But when Venus comes in, she's tidying up, she's connecting the dots, you're feeling connected and harmonious. There's some creativity, or just there's just the grace and favor of Venus coming into a difficult house, and then she's going to facilitate activating that mountain goat deep within you that is the magic of your soul. She is square the nodes, and she rules one of the nodes, Libra, the South Node in Libra. And squares, as I said before, they can bring about conflict, drama, and frustration. And you have Libra in your 9th house of your perspectives, right? How you perceive and map yourself out in the universe. How you learn and how you teach. And Aries with the North Node is over in your 3rd house of how you apply all that to your day-to-day, how you communicate, right? Your local community. So she's building. She may cause some tension around the way that you communicate and your perspectives that are based on unconscious responses and limiting beliefs, they may come to the surface because of what's going on here. But she genuinely is building a real refinement around how you perceive the world that's more in alignment with the magic of your soul, that you're able to find that meaning in the day-to-day and communicate it and feel a greater resonance in your life, right? So Venus is squaring and she's building new structures from the magic of your soul out into the world. But she's in Capricorn along with Pluto, along with Ceres. So there's really lovely energy with Venus and Ceres being in Capricorn at the moment. There's just a softening of that final Pluto transit. But she's in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn's influencing Venus. And Saturn's over in Pisces along with Neptune, which for you is in your second house of your values. How you value yourself, the things that you do, how you manifest, the skills and tools that you have to manifest and bring in regular income, the things that you value and how you value yourself, right? If you don't value yourself properly, you value things that distort your sense of value because they're just mimicking how you value yourself, your skills and tools. You're not able to elevate them in the same way because you're constantly second guessing your own value and your own worth. So Saturn's going direct, right? So as I said, we had a bit of summertime sadness. Saturn internally is reorientating our authority, our integrity, our commitment to our legacy. And that's happening in difficult ways that are putting up limitations, frustrations. But now it's going, I've been feeling it in the lead up. It feels like Saturn is dredging the fixed gunk in the ocean, fixed water, Scorpio, out to the surface for it to be dissolved by Neptune. And that's combined with that Pluto energy as well. And so when it goes direct on Friday, we're going to see such a shift of everything that we've sort of dredged up and dissolved and worked through. We're seeing how that's manifesting in the world outwardly when it goes direct. So that's a big shift. And Saturn is in Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter is influencing Saturn, therefore influencing Venus. Jupiter's over in Gemini, fellow air sign in your 5th house of creation energy, pleasure, joy, romance, dating, all of that kind of thing. Gemini's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury's over in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. So even though this is a Venus moon and Taurus moon and a moon, it is being governed by Jupiter and Mercury, and they are in what's called mutual reception. And they're basically on psychic hotline with each other. They're mind melded. They're in each other's realms. They know where everything is because of this mind meld. They really facilitate each other's journey. And so it was fascinating in the collective tarot reading that there was a lot of swords that came up, which mimics the astrology, because not only that algal Uranus energy, and Uranus can be seen as like a higher octane of Mercury, of releasing of perspectives that have blocked our physical vessel from genuinely enjoying being here. And then the fact that Jupiter and Mercury are governing this. And Jupiter is often about faith and wisdom, and Mercury is the details, the flow, the information, and they're working together. They're elevating how we perceive information, how we collect it, and the wisdom that we find from it. And Jupiter being in Gemini, very curious, able to change our minds. Mercury in Sagittarius being able to speak the truth. They do make me laugh. I'm sure they're saying something very serious. So they're actually governing this moon. Now, meanwhile, the sun is in Scorpio, ruled by Mars, whereas Mars in the sign of Leo. So we've got two mutual receptions going on between Mercury and Jupiter, ruling the moon, and Venus and Saturn, and Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, South Node, all of that. And then the sun and Mars are ruling Aries, Scorpio, and Leo, and what's going on there. And so I really like this, and they square one another. And so there's this sense of building the vision, right? And you have Leo over in your 7th house. You've got Mars there. And so there's a motivation and drive and action with the other. Now, the other can be a business partner, clients, intimate friends, long-term romantic relationships, as well as your relationship with source. So if you don't necessarily have all the others in your life very prominently, you can often find that the way that you're taking action is in alignment with source. I love it when that happens. And but overall, like, your motivation, your drive, and your action is seeking more collaboration with the other, is figuring out where is your motivation and drive and action being diminished by the other. Sometimes we can prioritize the other. Where are you not in co-creation? Where are you not in collaboration? Mars moving through the 7th is really good at sort of noticing what you're doing, and also what the other is doing as well, and how that communicates through the heart. Especially because of this moon in Taurus in the 4th, right? 4th house can have a lot of trauma because it's the ancestors and the parental figures, and it doesn't really matter what any of them do. One way or another, they're messing up our souls. Well, they're not. They're making sure it's all in alignment by having challenges, because we're coming from a denser consciousness. And how that shows up in the 3D. That you can see a lot of wounds around, say you grew up around parents who weren't that committed to each other, or they couldn't really communicate with each other, didn't take actions for each other, or what however it shows up. I can see with what's going on with that moon, Uranus and Algol, and Venus being over in the 12th house, right? So there's the unconscious spaces where your trauma responses, your limiting beliefs are, which we get from early years, of any love languages that you've learned via the ancestors, via your parental figures that don't serve you, right? That served you to a point, and now you're moving past that. I can see with that Mars Venus energy, at Mars in the 7th, of your actions in regards to the other shifting back to your frequency rather than that of other people. Because when you go on this journey, like, you realize so much of what you think is you is not you. So Venus is square the nodes, Mars is making harmonious aspects to them, which is this sense of building from a place of creativity, love, and connection, and then taking action through flow and love, right? So that's a really beautiful energy, and it doesn't have to be about other people. This is about how you are really liberated in your foundational space that's going to serve a greater expansion of self, right? Pluto's going to be moving into your sign, Aquarius, for the next 20 years. Like, this is whoo! And I love the setup of this, of like freeing you of some clutter. Right, I have chatted a while. Oh my goodness, half an hour without doing the tarot. So, first part, what is being released? Whoa. Whoa. So this is what's coming to an end. These blocks. This is wild. The High Priestess and the Hierophant. So we've got the Moon and Taurus here. The Moon's card is the High Priestess. This is the first time the Hierophant's turned up. And this is the Taurus card. So a real block in your foundational space around your intuition, that you know you're drawing towards your abundance. So often we easily forget, right? This inner stillness, this inner intuition, this inner balance and inner peace. And your inner spiritual wisdom and your embodiment of it, which is the Hierophant. That sense of commitment, that sense of power, right? Of the journey that you're on, the awareness of the journey and the growth that you've made, and not perhaps feeling a bit disconnected from your power, your inner wisdom, and your embodiment of that, of not seeing that. And this is big, that this is being closed out. These blocks around this of feeling good in the 3D realm are falling away, right? You're closing out that side. That's blown my mind. That's really blown my mind. That's pretty powerful. So what's being integrated? Shut up. Hi Aquarius, hi King of Swords, and the Ten of Pentacles. A clarity of self. So this, even though it may have been difficult, through the process of peeling this back, not being able to rely on this, has given you a sense of clarity. that you're then going to be building with, right? The sense of legacy. What you've had to go through here has got you more into your power and how to build in the long term. 10 of Pentacles, legacy energy. Feeling like this in terms of your foundational energy, not just your home, but like your in energy foundations. Having your own card, the King of Swords, show up with the 10 of Pentacles, earth energy of like, I'm grounded, I'm in. That King of Swords is very much, you're going to know when you know when you know, and it's going to be clear, and you're not going to have to second guess it. Whereas this feels like feeling very unclear, or at the very least feeling very blocked, like you're doing the things but not really seeing it like come to fruition, or practicing those things and just feeling a resistance with those blocks. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of speechless, but I can't be speechless on this channel. Aquarius. Wild. Okay, now you got an extra card. This is the download. This is what's being activated moving forwards. This is integrated, right? This is activated, not necessarily integrated. Oh, that takes the 6 months. With the Tower in reverse, the Knight of Cups, King of Pentacles, water, earth, Mars. And also this for me is a Uranus card. So I love the Tower, but it's not always fun. So seeing the Tower in reverse is always a nice surprise. That it feels like there's been lots of situations externally that have had the Tower and the upright that haven't worked out, that you may not have realized it's actually serving your longer term foundations, because the Tower knocks things from the top, keeps the foundations. I'm getting a feeling of the Saturn retrograde, actually, because Saturn comes along and breaks up our foundationals in order to make sure that they're strong for the next 30 years. And it's going direct. So what I feel with this is that through a process of external Tower moments, you with this full moon, part of this journey with the Knight of Cups and the King of Pentacles is what I'm getting is a real sense of calm, of noticing the inner superfluous energy falling away. As you're recalibrating back to your King of Swords, back into your power. As I said, that Uranian energy with Algol is about taking, like losing, cutting cords. With that Knight of Cups, we've got falling in love with the way that you move through the world again, right? With that foundational energy. Like this can see you at home, just being really creative, very imaginative, operating from a place of love, right? It's Venus ruled. Venus in the 12th, releasing unconscious blockages around, how to give and receive love. But it doesn't just have to be romantic. There's just a sense of openness with the Knight of Cups, following the heart space, following the flow. But water's very creative, very imaginative. There's a lot of feeling more content in your emotional body as well. And if we think about this water, where Scorpio is, up in your 10th house, there's like, we've got the Knight and the King, and there's this embodiment and the instigation of actions from a place of sovereignty in regards to the home and career. So for some of you, this can really be about figuring, like, creative brainstorming at home, working from home, as well as just genuinely feeling more in your flow in terms of your career, which is strengthening your foundational space of feeling very abundant, right? With that King of Pentacles. Yeah, the King has the Golden Scepter. The only other card that has it is the Empress. 3-3-3-3-3-3-3-3, as I said that. And the King, I love the King of Pentacles because His framework is that everything is creation. Every action that he takes is creation. And it's got him to this space where that then literally became true, right? You see all the grapes, they represent the harvest. He's got a massive castle behind him. As I said, he's got the tool of the empress. So there's this real heightened level of creativity that's building on a solid structure. Oh my goodness. Right, how to work with it. We have Aquarius. How many major arcana do you want in your spread? So far, we're at 5. We'll see what else wants to come up. That's the most so far, I believe. How to work with it. Justice and the Hangman. So this is a state, these are both observation cards, really. Justice is observant, objective, and empathetic. And I think sometimes we need to be that with ourselves, right? We can be too harsh on ourselves. And our expectations of productivity is definitely a thing. But she really takes her time to speak, to make a decision. And this is Libra, which is about your perspectives, how you map yourself out in the world. And there's something around, in order to cultivate and activate this, they're asking you to see clearly. And I feel like there's certain frameworks that have been part of the old timeline. Sometimes Libra can prioritize seeking balance, that it forgets about its own inner balance. That this is about your recalibration back to that King of Swords. That has to be done with both empathy and objectivity, which is quite hard to do for the self, right? And so there may be practices that you want to do at home where you're bringing yourself back into balance, however that resonates with you. It could be listening to certain frequencies. But when you're seesawing, when you're going from extremes, you need to come back and get back to the scales, right? So if you've got a tarot deck, maybe having Justice out by your bed so you can, or some scales of finding your equilibrium again. But the main message I'm getting with this is you've got to look at your life, your home, your foundational energy from a perspective that's empathetic and objective. I've been really feeling the embodiment of gratitude, right? So often we can have the idea in our head, but not necessarily feel it. And it's because I practiced this awareness of, okay, these certain things in my life aren't feeling good, aren't going in the way that I would like them to, in the way that I'd like them to. I can blame myself, I can get frustrated, or I can list all the things that I'm so incredibly grateful for, that we often take for granted. And I know it's a really obvious thing that everyone always talks about, and that's because it works. And so there's something around not expecting the same result as before, and that there's a new truth coming through that you've got to cultivate. And then we have the Hangman, which is all about changing your perspective, being upside down, right? In order to bring in divine wisdom, right? You see, it's the only halo in tarot. There's a sense of illumination here. There's a sense of elevation, but it is limbo. These are kind of pause cards. And it is saying, I said at the beginning, this King of Swords feels like a recalibration, that you've now got to catch up to this frequency. Now, what is at the bottom of the deck? And that kind of comes in with this, the Tower reverse, when I said it's like things internally that aren't part of you anymore, they're falling away. And I feel like these are going to help with that. As well as get into the Knight of Cups by being like, my life's great, even if it's not all working out, like you've got a roof over your head or whatever it is in your life. You can see the moon, you can go for a lovely walk, whatever it is that rocks your boat, of like, I'm able to do that. I can breathe, I can move, all of those things, get down to the nitty gritty. Bottom of the deck, we've got the Three of Pentacles. Now this is about mastery of self, and collaboration in order to build something beautiful and long lasting. Right, so this can be other people in your life that you're collaborating with, or it can be energies within you or the ancestors, where you're now all working together. There's a sense of inner collaboration I'm getting as well, to build build a home, build a structure, build a foundation that's going to last. That doesn't have to be a literal home. This might be some of you that you might be moving in with a partner, and that you're working together, and there's a heightened sense of collaboration there. But overall, there's a real sense of not losing yourself while still being open and receptive to this sense of cooperation and things working by putting it into practice. So, pulled some other cards on Uranus. So what's Uranus doing for you? Four of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. This is great. Uranus is establishing a strong internal foundation that's allowing you to create from a place of gratitude, right? This is my gratitude card, so it's funny that came up a lot, where you are feeling good about your life, right? Uranus is helping you get into that space from a place of sovereignty, and this is all about the inner alignment of your emotional body, where you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, and fake it. Often it is really genuinely fake it till you make it. Regulars, I've talked many times about how I used to, if I'd knock something over, or if I didn't do all the tasks in a really streamlined way where there was no energy loss, right? Used to really struggle going back on myself. Liked everything to be in flow. I'm a Virgo sun. I'm very mercurial based, and so I used to hate myself for knocking something over, or having to do two runs back and forth when I could have done it in one. I didn't think I deserved to exist. And that's genuinely the physical response that my body had. And I was like, this is killing me. This has been my whole life. What the F is this about? This is absurd and insane. This is madness. So I then started laughing every time something went wrong. And it sounded like fake laughter. It was terrible. And then eventually more and more and more, the laughter started getting genuine. And now it's got to the point where it's not just the laugh that's genuine. It's my mind, it's my heart, it's my body. You're all kind of like, this is all fine. And in fact, it's more than fine. It's lovely and it's happy and it's joy. And you just got to sometimes fake it till you make it. And so with that gratitude of like every day waking up and going, I'm so happy I exist. My life is wonderful, right? But I love that Four of Pentacles, right? Because it's a very solid energy of your foundations. What is Saturn doing? Well, blimey, we have, ta-da, the Empress, the other one with the golden scepter, and the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, they're wanting the Eight of Pentacles to go first. So Saturn going direct. Oh, I love this for you in your second house. So that's your skills and your tools of how to manifest and how to bring in regular income. It's also about how you value yourself. Eight of Pentacles is stepping up to your own experience, stepping up to your own lifetime, your own incarnation, and sorry for the swear word, and whistling while you work, right? This is about the refinement in the 3D world. If you look at this, refining those skills, those tools, right? And really enjoying the process of heading towards mastery. Oh, I love that of Saturn going direct. But this person knows their own value, because they know that the work that they've done, they can see it with their eyes. They understand, they can comprehend. They don't need anybody else to tell them that what they're doing is damn good. Love this with the Empress. Abundance, creativity, fertility, right? Feeling good in the 3D world. Creativity. That's some pretty cool cards to come up for the second house with Saturn. I am here for that, Aquarius. Okay, what oracle cards do we have? Netcaster, preparations come to fruition. Ooh. All the decks in the description box, by the way, if any of them take your fancy. Still not used to the swap over of the hands with these cards. Okay, yeah, you can kind of see this one. Preparations come to fruition, a surprise, a result beyond expectations. The netcaster arrives to tell you to stop praying for the fish. They have arrived, and it's time that you cast your net, lest they swim away. Everything that you long for is within reach. but it has been so long since your prayers were answered that you've forgotten how to receive. That's this. That's that. So funny, the postman just put something through the letterbox of something being received, right? I love it when postie often comes in at the best times. You have forgotten how to receive what is being offered to you. Put down the prayer beads and open your arms and your heart to rewards beyond measure. Cast your net. Take the next step that you've been planning for so long. Remember that the fish wait for no one, so time is of the essence. Heaven and earth are in perfect alignment for your victory. The stars are positioned for success. The only one who can spoil the perfection of the moment is you. If you ask, do I really deserve this? You will sabotage the magic and shatter the crystalline flawlessness of the now. The netcaster can also arrive to bring you bad news, to tell you that you've been snared in someone's trap and must wiggle free. Right now it feels comfortable enough, even as the net begins to tighten around you. Do not wait until it is suffocating you before realizing you must escape and run for your life. It is still early enough to exit gracefully. Bide your time until all the conditions are right. Go to your place of stillness, of deep quiet, and watch for the signs that a new opportunity has arrived. Right now you are patient because you feel that things will go your way. Learn to be patient with the people and situations that are more challenging. Well, that's kind of summing up a lot of the sort of the putting in the work, feeling blocked, not necessarily things working out in the way that you'd like them to all of that's led to the activation of more abundance. And it's how you perceive your reality. The doubt, the fear, the worry that these two cards are trying to get you out of. Right, next up we have from Rainbow Brainskull Oracle, number 25. Haven't had this card before. It's a new deck. It's my favorite at the moment. Let every cat out of every bag. Keeping everything in is painful. Let the truth out and it will work wonders for you. Be kind, but be honest. There's that. There is that. I'm going to see what's at the bottom of the deck with this one. Shut up. Oh, it really is funny. Divination really is wild. Wild, 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 wild. Right, this is, you'll see why I was laughing. Out-argue bad narrative in head. If you argue with your limitations, you will be allowed to keep them. This is Venus over in your 12th, with Pluto, with Ceres. Both sides can always be argued. Defend the future you wish for. Whether you believe you can or you believe that you can't, you're right. Well, they just summed up everything. Aquarius, what a reading. What a reading. Goodness gracious me. Be good to yourselves, Aquarius. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you want a personal reading, my details are everywhere. Be good to yourselves. Be good to those around you. Safe travels. And be well until we meet again.